Welcome to Proud to Be Out with Tigo. Today our interview is with Kristy Cato. She's an author. She's been in this business of entertainment for a minute or two, and she's just proud to be out. Welcome, Kristy.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So let's just delve right into the book because, the cover alone just kind of grabs you with that heart. The Dance, My First Love. Tell me about that.
Okay, basically The Dance is about My First Love, is about a love story, a very deep emotional love story between two females. I think if you read the book, you will find a lot of yourself in it. And the reason I'm saying this is because a lot of people have come to me, written me, fans, friends, anyone who's read the book identifies with the book. It doesn't matter if you're male, female, transgender, straight, gay, everyone finds something here they can relate to. And I think it has a lot to do with everyone goes through a first love.
Okay, so now tell me how you came up with the idea, because yes, we've all gone through a first love. Most of us have gotten our little hearts broken, and then we tried to survive past it. So tell me how you came up with the idea of the book.
The idea came just out of nowhere, to be honest. Deep down, I'm thinking it's from suppressed feelings. I kind of went through my first love years ago, and basically I went through some other relationships, and kind of just suppressed the pain from it. And when I finally sat down and had a moment to myself after the years had passed, all the emotions just kind of hit me. And I sat down on my computer, supposed to be looking for a job after I got laid off from budget cuts due to the recession in 2008. And instead of me going online looking for a job, this story just started coming out of me. I brought up Word and just started writing, and that's where it came from. By the time I was done with it and talked to a few people who had looked at some inserts on it, they started talking to me about it, and that's when I started to identify, recognizing my suppressed feelings.
Okay, now are you an author? Are you a screenwriter? You literally just got up one day and had the story you had to tell.
I was never a writer, never an author. I worked in the entertainment industry for 10 plus years as a field coordinator, which has nothing to do with writing, and never even thought about writing. It's just something that just hit me one day that just came out of me. Some of my friends said they're not surprised because when I tell a story, they say I make it sound exciting. Even if they were there, it wasn't really that exciting as it was when they were there, but I could have a way of explaining something or telling the story. But no, I was not a writer before, but it's crazy because this first book, The Dance, My First Love, actually ended up being the first of an 8-book series.
Right. Now, we're going to get into that. But before we get into that, let's talk about, I looked at your Facebook page, and you actually have people posing with your book. They're so happy they've read it.
Yeah.
You've got a fan base building behind this book and its series.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's surprising because the first person that did it was a fan on the page. Her name was Woofy Woof. I like to call her a friend, actually, instead of a fan. She was so excited. It was her first book ever. And she said she didn't read. She was just buying it just to support me. And then one day she sat down, opened it up, and couldn't put it down. And she kept reading and kept reading. And then next thing you know, get on the computer, go to my Facebook page, and here she is with a picture of herself with my book. And she had this whole review talking about it's my first book. I read it in this amount of time, a short period of time. I'm excited. And from that point on, she started spreading the word. And all these people, everyone was buying it, writing reviews, and they just started pasting their picture on my wall with the book. They were so excited and passing it on and telling their friends, and it just kept going and building and building and building and building.
That's awesome. Really, I've met other authors. I've interviewed other authors. None of them have said that the fans, that the readers has just basically created a fan club for them and started taking pictures. That's a sign of love right there for what you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I had no idea that happened either. And it's funny because it's like so many, they write me every day. They want to know what's going on. They tell me, oh, I'm promoting, I got a friend reading it, or I have some friends. Wolfie Wolf, what she does is she's so excited because, like I said, this is her first book. She actually was honest with me and told me she's never read any book all the way through. Even when she was in school, she just skimmed through it and got through everything else. But this is the first book she's read word for word verbatim, and she's read it more than once. What she does, she's so excited because she loves the book. She holds contests and asks people the word, what does love mean to you? And for the first 5 people that she would that write what does love mean to, she actually buys the book for them and mails it to them. People that she doesn't even know online. And she's done that several times, and she's so supportive. And like I said, I can't even call her a fan. She's just like a friend from now. And this is someone I've never met to this day, and I would love to meet her because she's so great, and she's good at promoting that book, and she's good because she really enjoys it and explains everything to everyone.
Well, you know, if you ever run for office, you already have your campaign manager, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
Okay, now, you're the self-proclaimed author that you literally just had this gift and it came out, and now it's come out 7 more times. This is an 8-book series, correct?
That is correct. All of them are written with the exception of the 8th one. I'm actually in the middle of writing that one right now.
So tell me about it. What's the series about? Is it continuing the first story? Are they separate stories? Come on now, you got to tell us. We're listening.
Okay, I'm excited just as you are. The second book continues from the first book. What happens is the first story is told by one of the characters in the first book. And then from that point on, I don't want to ruin the ending of the first book, so I'm just going to switch over to the second book. The second, one of the same characters from the last book, she takes it from that point in the last book and tells her story from that point, growing and maturing along the way. And what happens, each character in the first book, there's 4 main characters. They each end up with their own book. There's also a couple other people who end up with their own book in the way because you don't know if you haven't read the book. You don't know the characters, and if you have, there's some of the characters that haven't been introduced yet. But it's due to, after I actually written the first book, I was getting kind of antsy and irritated, and I couldn't figure out why. Once again, popped up the computer, and it all just poured out, and that's why it just continued on. And it just keeps coming and keep coming. And I was actually done with the 7th book, which I was calling the whole series a 7-book ending. So right now we're just saying it's an 8-book series because that's all I got in me right now. But I'm very proud. The thing about this is I've read some other what we call lesbian love stories, but this is a little bit different. I took it to the next level, and I think it has to be taken to the next level to give people hope and to show them a future in this community of the LGBT world. You know,
okay, now before we go any further, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell our listeners how they can find your books, because they're sitting there going, okay, I want to read it. Where do I go?
Definitely, you can get it on Amazon.com or any other online bookstore. Some people are a little iffy about ordering online. You can also go into any bookstore in any community and ask them for, if they don't have it, you can ask them to order it for you. Just give them the title of the book and the author's name, which is The Dance, My First Love, written by, of course, Kristy Cato, myself. I have a website, which is KristyCato.com. You can also go on there where you can actually cheat. What I did was I set up the first 3 chapters where you can read those just to see if you're interested in it, which everyone seems to be. My Facebook page is set up Kristy Cato Author. I'm looking at it right now, and because they like to see all the people holding my book and people's comments and references. And also I put a lot of the reviews on my website page, too, for people to go in and see who these people are and what they're writing about the book.
All right, so before we move on to the personal side of Kristy Cato, how about we spell Kristy Cato for them, because everybody spells a little different.
Sure, no problem. It's Kristy, and Cato is spelled Cato, Kristy Cato.
You know, later on we have to talk because my mother's maiden name is Cato, and we may be cousins. I always love finding a new family. Now let's go to the other side of what Proud to Be Out is all about. And we all know Proud to Be Out is about sharing our stories, both professionally and personally. So it's safe to say that you are comfortably out, yes?
Yeah, comfortably, definitely now, ever since the book came out. Before I was kind of semi-out, where I call semi-out is when everyone knows but they don't talk about it.
Oh, okay, yeah, we all do that.
Yeah, and then you have people that guess, maybe she is, maybe she isn't, maybe she's just, you know, to
So
herself.
tell me about that day. You know that day, the day you decided, maybe I need to just go ahead and talk about it.
Actually, I haven't had that day. It just comes across. I mean, my book is obvious. I
Right.
did write I wrote a short blog on coming out and why it came out on my website and my on my Facebook page. I thought it was important that I write it. Just to give you an idea, is I felt like people around me that I was hiding from or not coming out to, and pretending to be somebody that I wasn't for them, I realized they weren't doing the same for me. They weren't hiding any of their life for me. They weren't pretending to be somebody else for me, and they never would. And so I said, well, why am I doing it for them? As I get older, I realize life is short, and why am I living for them? There's two reasons
Right.
I'm here. One is for God, and two is figured out is for this writing thing. Because I don't care what happens after this. As long as I get all these stories out, I'm good. I'm good with whatever goes on from this point on.
So I just have a couple of more questions for you, Kristy, then I'm going to let you go because I know you're a really busy lady. But one question I have is, if someone is an author or wants to be an author, what advice would you give them for getting that first project started and getting that first project out there?
The honest truth is, I would say if you wanted to be an author or writer, I would say just sit down and write from your heart. I don't think if I sat down and started an outline and tried to figure this out, it would have come out the same and touched people the way it did. I think if you just go to your heart and just start writing, you can fix everything else later, as long as you get your story out there. Because you'd be surprised at how many people identify with that and how many people you could help. And I'll give you an example. I had a young lady write me. Her mom had kicked her out of the house because she decided to tell her, hey, Mom, I'm a lesbian. And my mom said, you're not going to live that life. I'm going to kick you out. You got to get out. Or you can decide just go to church, let's do this, and you live the right way, was what her mom was calling it, meaning dating guys.
Right.
And she decided, I'm not going to, live that like that. So she went, your mom kicked her out, and she went to stay with a friend. Her friend happened to have my book. And she spent the first few days crying and crying and crying, and then her friend gave her my book, and she sat down and read it. And she began to cry again after she was done. And she said, what's wrong? You can see, blah, blah, blah. And she told her, I wish my mom, could understand this type of love. This is unconditional. This is the kind of love that people, strive for, people want. And instead of settling for something else or trying to make someone live what you think, we should all see this type of love. So she got up from her nerve, went to her mom's house, and knocked on the door and asked her. She said, look, Mom, I want you to read this book. If you read this book, I promise you I will never come to your skin. I won't bother you. You'll never hear from me. I'll be the daughter that you never had. All I'm asking you to do is read this book. She gave her the book and she left. Mom never said a word. Just closed the door. 2 months later, she hadn't heard from her mom, but her mom came to her friend's house and she got her. She says, she just hugs her and she says, I love you, whatever. She goes, I don't care who you are, what you're going to be. I love you no matter what. And you're my daughter, and I just want you to be happy. And she,
that's awesome.
And yeah, she asked her why. She said, why was the change of heart? She goes, I read the book, and everyone deserves that type of love. Everyone. And I will never doubt you again. And then she wrote me. When she wrote me, she told me her and her mom have never been as close when before she told her she was lesbian as they are now. And I love to hear stories like that because it gives people hope. You can change. Even the mother, the father, whoever that may be that negative, yet you would never believe that would turn or change and have a change of heart. That is the best thing in the world for them just to have that story. Or someone say something or they see something to just change it when it's not too late. When a child is still healing, your child is in your face because you're supposed to love your children no matter what, unconditionally. And if I can help with my stories, then I'm there. And I'll keep writing until I get through it to everyone in the United States that just does not understand it and needs to understand that it's okay.
I love your passion, Kristy. I really do. I just have 2 more questions. One, give your website again, please.
Okay, it's KristyCato.com.
And your Facebook page again is?
Is Kristy Cato Author.
One final question for you, and we're going to let you go. Kristy, are you proud to be out?
I'm very proud to be out, and I love who I am.
Thanks, Kristy. Thanks for being on the show. Hey, you've been listening to Proud to Be Out. I'm Tigo, and we'll talk to you next time.